check out why I really believe and I sense that Kristi Noem is going to serve some time. She's going to either be processed and recorded being under arrest, or she's going to actually serve some actual time for these crimes that she is helping to commit along with President Trump's administration. She has violated so many human rights, especially the right of habeas corpus, by processing migrants without a due say in our justice system. And I just really feel like the blocks are going to fall on her. And history will repeat itself, because we know that's what Trump does best. He lets the bag fall on those who serve him. And what really boils my blood is when I see these promo pictures that she takes, as if she's like some Barbie doll for Homeland Security. You know, you are not border wall Barbie. She dresses up as if, you know, this is some new photo op for herself to show off her new nose job or her new weave extensions. You know, you are Secretary of Homeland Security. Have some decorum about yourself. But this is going to fall back on her. And she's going to pay dearly for all of these little gimmicks that she's got going on, even with the possibility of a reality show. She denies it now on the Capitol Hill when they had a hearing with her a few weeks ago. She denies that she's going to be partaking in a reality show in her official role as a Homeland Security Secretary. I hope to God that's all that it is a rumor. But they even talked to her about certain terminology she should know, and she has no clue of what she's doing. Yes, she served as a governor, but in this capacity, she doesn't provide dignity for migrants that have tried to come into our country. Yes, they have broken the law in trying to come to the country and not following the process, but not all have done that. And that's the thing that has gotten to me, is that you can't just have the law in your own. You can't say what you feel the law should be. You have to follow the law for what the people voted for. We voted for these people in Congress to pass particular laws that help to protect us and to also help protect human rights that come into our country. This is not a third world country. This is not a autocracy. This is not fascism. This is not, I do what I want when I want. Now let's hear what Senator Schiff has to say about Kristi Noem. It's very interesting.
Today I want to talk about Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. You probably know many of the Trump nominees, now confirmed cabinet officials, but you may not know some of them all that well. So this is part of a series of getting to know the Trump cabinet. Kristi Noem started out in South Dakota. She was a state legislator there and later became the governor of South Dakota after serving for a time in the House of Representatives. In the House where I served with her, she was a far-right Republican known for her co-sponsorship of a bill to outlaw abortion, a federal abortion ban. But she becomes governor, and among her notable episodes as governor, and something that would foreshadow things to come, was, well, this episode of reality TV. Here's Governor Noem on an official website doing an infomercial for her dentist.
Well, hi, I'm Kristi Noem. I'm the governor of South Dakota and had the opportunity to come to Smile, Texas to fix my teeth, which has been absolutely amazing. For years, I have needed to have an adjustment to my teeth from a biking accident, and they have been absolutely phenomenal.
Now, this infomercial goes on for almost 5 minutes. I'm not going to make you suffer through watching the whole thing, but this is done as governor on government resources. Her tenure at DHS, rather, it has been the draconian and cruel immigration policy of the department that she oversees, of the administration's policy. A policy that has divided families and caused unquestionable heartbreak, a policy that has violated court orders, a policy that has sent people to maximum security prisons outside the country in violation of court orders, a policy that has refused to remedy their mistakes, a policy that is causing heartbreak every day. I've met with people who have been deeply and adversely impacted by Kristi Noem and the draconian policies of this administration. I've met with farm workers, young children of farm workers who've had their fathers taken away from them. I've met with wives who've had their husbands pulled out of cars at traffic stops or at gas stations and deported. None of these folks, none of them had a criminal record. These were people who had been toiling in the fields through heat and cold, through pandemic and non-pandemic, to put food on our table. And yet these families are separated. These children are permanently scarred by the actions of this administration. Kristi Noem has demonstrated in her short tenure she doesn't know the first thing about due process. Here she is testifying before the Senate.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right
let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
That's right. She has no idea what habeas corpus is, and nor does she seem particularly to care. That was Senator Maggie Hassan. Here's Senator Chris Murphy detailing just some of the serious flaws in her administration of DHS.
I say this with seriousness and respect, but your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States. Your agency acts as if laws don't matter, as if the election gave you some mandate to violate the Constitution and the laws passed by this Congress. It did not give you that mandate. You act as if your disagreement with the law, or even the public's disagreement with the law, is relevant and gives you the ability to create your own law. It does not give you that ability.
But probably the most egregious plans the department may have for this kind of reality TV department involves the makers of Duck Dynasty, who have pitched DHS on a Survivor-like show in which people who are applying for citizenship are put through a series of demeaning tests, like panning for gold or building a car or some other kind of crazy experiment in the worst form of television. They would presumably pick people up at Ellis Island, put them on a train, test them in various ways. People would be eliminated from the train, and ultimately, I suppose, the train arrives at the destination of citizenship. Only Kristi Noem would consider such a warped idea as that one.
Now, after hearing the commentary of Senator Schiff and listening to the commentary of our representatives on Capitol Hill during the last hearing of Kristi Noem, do you get where I'm coming from now? Like, I really sense that she's going to face some jail time. I don't know if it's now, the near future, or whatever, but she has violated so many precedents to her oath in office that it's just mind-boggling to me. She really thinks that autocracy is in order because this administration won an election. No, this is a democracy. And yes, we have to have border protection. Yes, our borders were definitely out of control, but there is something called having compassion and giving people their dignity and their due process in our country. This is what makes the United States better than any other country in the world. And if we're going to save that, we need to stand by that in our laws. Thanks. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Don't like. I can really care less because that's how I feel. Thanks so much for listening to my point of view. And I hope you have a blessed one.